Good evening everyone and welcome back to my blog. Tonight we're going to do a very different look from the previous session, which was a wing smoky eye. Tonight we're going to do a very warm bronzed look which is inspired by the beautiful Kim Kardashian, and we're going to finish with a red lip. So I'm going to crack on straight away because last time I did ramble a little bit. So we're going to start with the MAC pigment here, which is called Tan, and I'm going to take a natural hairbrush, and that's quite big and flat as well, so that's going to cover the whole surface really nice and quickly. Now these pigments do have a tendency to go everywhere, so just be careful when you're using those. And again, a little goes a long way with these, so you don't need to use too much. So I'm just going to pop that on my brush, and I'm just going to pop this over the whole of the mobile lid, so that's the lid that moves up and down. So with this big brush, just be one fair sweep really. Just pop that on. So as you can see, all done, really quick and easy. So these brushes are really great if you like an extra 5 minutes in bed in the morning before work, or if you're in a hurry to get ready to go out. So I'm just tapping off the excess again for that, so we don't get too much messy fallout under the eye. And just sweeping that along the whole of the mobile lid. Okay, so that's step one. That's a really lovely high shine, really metallic, but quite subtle at the same point in time colour there. Just pop the lid back on that because I know what I'm like, and that's going to end up on the floor everywhere. So the next step we are going to use is we're going to contour the socket line, and for that I'm going to use the Chanel colour which is called Sand. And this is a really great colour for contouring because it's matte and it's like a sort of pebble colour, so it's a neutral. And to contour my socket line, good lord, I'm going to use the MAC brush number 210, and if you can see, it goes into a point which is really great for getting into that socket line. So I'm just going to pop that on my brush. And to find your socket line, basically, if you just pop your brush and hook it in above the eyelid, sounds a bit disgusting, but it's a really good guide. And we're just going to roll that colour along the socket line there. And this is going to add loads of definition to the eye and make the eye look really big. And I'm just going to take that about 3/4 of the way down. No, actually I'm going to take it almost to the end. Just don't want to take it all the way down because you don't want the eye to appear droopy. You want them to look lovely and big. So again, my mirror's over here tonight, so that's where I am. Pop that into the socket line and roll that along. And then almost down to the end. There we go. So you can see now we've got the definition. And I'm also going to use this sand colour underneath the eye. So I'm taking my 23 Chanel brush, which is the slanted brush, again, which is really good for getting right underneath that lower lash line. And I'm just going to draw a line underneath the lash line. The reason I'm not using a kohl or an eyeliner is because this is a really natural look, and I think that a kohl or an eyeliner would just look too stark with this look, so we're keeping it nice and natural. And take this 3/4 of the way in again, so as not to close off the eye. Okay, so once that's lined, we are going to take this fabulous colour here, which is my absolute favourite, and it's called Mulch by MAC. And it's a really nice bronzy colour, and it's got gold flecks in there as well. So we're going to use our MAC blending brush, which is number 224. So just pop a bit of that on your brush, and we're going to apply that to what I call the V of the eye, which is this corner here, which is like a V. So take it into the corner and then bring it down. I actually find when I'm using high metallic colours that I get more fallout than when I'm doing a smoky eye. So you might need to just use your fantail brush to sweep off any fallout under the eye. And if you're using metallics, especially gold, it can create quite a nice highlighter, so it's not all bad. So again, we're going to pop that in the V of the eye. And then taking a clean MAC blending brush, which is number 217, I'm just going to go and take that over the top of that line there just to blend it out so there's no harsh lines. And again on the other side. Oh. Right, so next step we're going to use, again, we're going to use our number 20 Regard Perle Chanel palette, which I used in my previous tutorial. So that's actually coming in really, really handy. And I'm using this lovely little brush here. Now this one I got when I was training, but you can buy these in MAC or in Boots. So they sell those everywhere. And I'm actually going to use this whitey gold colour at the front here. Just going to load that onto my brush. And just going to pop that in the inner corner of the eye. And that's going to really, really brighten the eye and make us look awake even if we're half asleep. And again, at this time of year, it's easy to feel a bit down and a bit blue. So this is really just going to hopefully lift our spirits. Okay. And then again, using this palette and again my Chanel slanted brush, I'm going to use this gold here. And I'm going to pop that over the sand that we put underneath the lower lash line. And that's just going to add a bit of sparkle. Okay, so next step we're going to do is liquid eyeliner, which is always something that terrifies me slightly. Something that you definitely need to work at if you haven't used before, but practice makes perfect. I'm going to use the liquid eyeliner by Chanel. This one here has got a flexible brush at the end, and this one is in number 31 Onyx Noir. I know with liquid liners you sort of stick to what you know. I can't for the life of me use the liquid liners with the nibs. I just can't do it. So once you find one that you're comfortable with, stick with it. Just make life easier for yourself. So we're going to just do a simple flick with the liner tonight. And when using a liquid liner, never start in the corner of the eye first, just because once you take it out of the pot, there's going to be a lot of product on the brush, and you don't want that to seep into the tear duct. That could cause an eye infection, or it just generally be quite painful. So we're going to start in the middle of the lash line. Just rest the brush on your lashes and drag it across. And that will act as a really, really good guide for you. Now that we've got less product on the brush, we're going to take it into the corner there. And drag it along. And then we're just going to do a simple flick at the end. And if you have trouble doing the flicks, just act as though it's an extension of the lower line. So we're going to bring it up as if this line carried on going up. We're just going to bring our brush up like so. But again, it is a case of practicing, and even now some days mine looks absolutely awful, so it's not always guaranteed to go okay. So we're just going to do the same on the other eye, starting again in the middle and dragging that across, and then going into the corner of the eye. And our flick, so just an extension of the lower eye line. And there we go, that's our flicks done. So I'm actually going to use false lashes for this look, simply because Kim Kardashian is a massive fan of false lashes and what I call the spider effect, which I absolutely adore. Some people don't like it so much, they prefer the natural look, but I think for this look because it's quite natural generally, we're just going to use the lashes to spice it up a little bit. So I'm using the Cheryl Cole eyelashes, which are my new favourites, simply because they're actually quite natural. If I show you, if you can see those, they're quite natural, but you can really build up mascara to give that spidery look. So, God, it's hot in this house. I'm sitting right by a radiator as well, it doesn't help, so I feel like I'm melting a little bit. Okay, so what side? So this is right side. So I'm actually just going to use the glue that I get with the eyelashes. Some people prefer to use duo glue, that's DUO, which is also good, but I normally find the glue that you get with them is good enough. So, and you just want to wait for that glue to dry a little bit. You don't want to put it on when it's really, really wet because it won't stick very well. So you want it to just dry a little bit first before you pop it on. And then we're going to try and get that in as close to the lash line as possible. And you might actually want to cut the lashes down a bit in length before you pop them on so that they're not sort of hanging off the edge of your eye, because that will actually give the effect of a droopy eye, which is something that we're not really looking to create. Okay, so I'm just going to let that one dry and then on to the next. But there's so many fantastic lashes out there. I think Eyeshadow are the best. I've tried MAC before, they're also really good, but they're quite expensive, and I think that for value purpose, Eyeshadow are just as good. So, but do go out there and try, find your favourites, like I found my Cheryl's, good old Cheryl. And again, just trying to get that as close to the natural lash line as you can. Oh, just need to pop a little bit of glue in there. Okay, so that's the lashes done. We're actually going to use a mascara now to bind the natural lashes to the fake lashes. And I'm using the YSL False Lash Effect again, but this time I'm using a sample that I got, which is called The Shocking, which apparently makes the eyelashes even bigger than the one I've already got. So I cannot wait to see how this looks. Right, so we're just gonna bind those two together. And you can be quite liberal with that. You know how I feel about mascara, the more the better, so as much as you're comfortable with. And again, we're going to do the bottom lashes this time as well, because Kim's a big fan of the spidery bottom lashes as well. So just taking that underneath. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the lip because I'm conscious that we are building up quite some time here. So I've just got a bit of lip balm on at the moment, and I'm just going to take that off. And I'm actually going to use a lip liner, because I think when using a red lipstick, it's nice to have it really, really precise, and it will also keep the colour from bleeding, which is really important. So I'm using number 24 in the Rimmel Exaggerate. And so when lining your lips, I start with the Cupid's bow. So we're just going to do the M first. And then we're going to go the lower line, like so. And then we're going to join them up. And I'm actually going to join it up from the corner inwards as opposed to outwards, because sometimes you can sort of end up out here. So. Oh, it's gorgeous. I might go out like this. Right, so I'm going to use Lady Danger by MAC, which is my favourite red lipstick. It's a really, really warm red. It's almost like a chili pepper red. So I'm just going to whack that on. Great for the summer. Make sure you go in all the corners. So there we go, and I'm just going to finish with a bit of blush and a bit of highlighter. So I'm using the My Face Cosmetics in Paradiso Pink, which is a perfect sort of pinky coral. And I'm using number 4 Chanel blusher brush. And I'm just going to sweep this along the apple of the cheek. So I've done a little bit too much, look a bit like a clown. So I'm just going to tap a bit of that off with tissue paper. Don't worry, if you put too much on, it can always come off. So, and then finally, I'm using a Too Faced palette, which has seen better days, called California in a Compact. And I'm going to use my fantail brush, just swish that all around, tap off the excess, and I'm going to just pop that on the cheekbone there and take it through the brow. And again, on the cheekbone and through the brow, so you've got a really sort of glowing Hollywood complexion. So that, my loves, is the finished look. I hope you've enjoyed this post, and we'll be practicing practicing this look really soon. So thanks again for watching, and have a lovely evening. Mwah.